Lesson 99, this is the UK in the global economy, and I'm really here looking at question 1 on the unit 4, and I just want to give you like maybe 4 areas that you may be able to use. A lot of the questions tend to be on how will the growth in Africa affect the UK, or how will the growth in South America affect the UK. Now, always in any of these questions, the first part is, well, hopefully we can sell them more exports. If they start growing, we can sell them more exports, multiplier accelerator effects, increase in AD. Hopefully you won't get demand pull inflation if we're on the elastic part of the S curve. Right, this leads to export-led growth. However, and that's what we want to achieve in the UK. However, this depends on how competitive we are in the UK, what about our energy costs, and how competitive is our labour market. But hopefully we should be able to sell more exports. The second one is any growth in any part of the world, there is always an opportunity for foreign direct investment. So our firms may decide to go over there, they're going to have lower costs. Now this is going to bring more money into the UK through the net investment income account. It will be our shareholders who gain though. They will gain the benefits of that foreign direct investment. And in the long term, South America may decide to invest in the UK. If we look at India, India has invested in the UK, which is surprising really when you think India would invest in India because they got cheaper labour, but they've decided to invest money in the UK, e.g. Tata and JLR. Okay, the third one is any growth of any economy in the world will always have an impact upon resources, e.g. China. China led to low inflation in the 1980s and 1990s by producing loads of cheap goods, but because they now use up so many of the world's resources, that has in fact created cost push inflation for everybody else in terms of resources. Also, the Chinese have built up this huge sovereign wealth fund, so they continue to go around the world buying up all these resources. More resources, more growth means more climate change. However, maybe there is a big future here for the UK to take the green energy route from there. The fourth reason is in the UK we do in fact have a worsening trade deficit. In the UK this is 5% of GDP, so obviously if another country grows maybe we'll start to import more of their goods. However, it could also be a new partner, so perhaps we might sell more exports. E.g. if we take the example of India, India needs a lot of buildings, they need new infrastructure. That's the sort of expertise that we can offer in terms of UK. JCB are now pretty big in terms of India. I think they just put a plant out there. And we've also got expertise in financial services. So there are opportunities out there. But ultimately, of course, in your conclusion, you might be able to say, this will all depend upon supply side economics. If you've got a great supply side performance, then your economy will grow. Thank you. Okay, this is lesson 99, the UK in the global economy, and if we look here, our manufacturing sector is absolutely fundamental to how well we do in the future, because aggregate demand is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. We want to move towards investment and exports. Now, our manufacturing sector also then will depend upon our energy costs, our labour costs, our exchange rate, and also our productivity. That is the cost basis of it. It also depends upon our institutional factors. What are those? Those are things like our banking sector, level of corruption in the UK, ease of doing business in the UK, transport systems, infrastructure, all of those sorts of things as well. Now, overall, we can say the UK is doing okay in all these areas right now, and it may well become a regional power in terms of Europe, simply because it's got a much more flexible labour market than the rest of Europe. E.g. if we look at the USA and the UK, our labour market is much more flexible, therefore wages are lower, better qualified workers, etc. So what is labour market flexibility? It's having fewer regulations than your counterparts, less health and safety laws, good education system, good training, that you can move your pensions with you if you have to change jobs. You can move to a new part of the country and you can find a house which is cheap enough to move into, and 0-hour contracts. So if you have a very flexible labour market, then your economy can do much better. Also in relation to this, we also have to look at the 10 major trends that are occurring in the world right now. We can look at factories of the future, nearshoring, which is the old manufacturing system coming home maybe from China to Eastern Europe, but some of that may actually be coming all the way back to the UK. There's a big demand shift obviously to the east, from here. Cluster manufacturing, which is where you get all your suppliers in one area. Resource efficiency. Have we got the right sort of workers for the future? The talent challenge. Nanotechnology. Service-driven business models, meaning mass customization, so you can produce individual models for the consumer. Where you get all your supply chains from, and 3D printing. But fundamentally, what we're talking about here is if you get the innovation right, so you can bring all of this, all the supply chain and everything together and have automation, then you may not need as much labour as you did in the past. So this is almost like the third industrial revolution. So if the UK can take advantage of this, then it's going to be okay in the global marketplace. Okay, so this is UK and the global economy, and we've just looked at the factors that you're going to have to write about in terms of an essay. But this provides quite an overview. Don't forget labour market flexibility. Thank you.